Welcome everybody to our Area 6 meeting. Today we are hosted, our co-host and MCs are Stephanie Hintz and Luisa Gerasimo. So I'm going to pass it over to you both.
Well, I think our job is pretty easy. We're supposed to give you all a warm welcome. And then we're going to ask Carrie Ives if she could introduce Chippewa County to you. The Chippewa County board members.
Okay, well, good afternoon. Who I have today on is Charlene Cravina from District 10 and Annette Hunt from District 13. Those were the two other committee members that could attend with us today. Otherwise,
Andy.
Yep.
Oh, did you have anything else to add?
No, I guess I see their names up there, so I won't mention them, but the other people on our committee is Ken Schmitz, the vice chair, Glenn Sikorsky as well, and Dean Gullickson's our county board chair, and Randy Schultz, our county administrator, said he was unable to attend as well. So thank you.
Okay, well, welcome Chippewa County. So happy to have you. Jim Anderson, would you mind introducing folks from Dunn County?
Thank you. Am I unmuted?
Yeah.
All right. Well, good to be part of this. Thank you. I'm not sure that you see the list of the members of the Dunn County. We call ourselves a Community Resources and Tourism Committee. And I'm chair of that, which I'm very happy to do. Jim Zahns, I don't see Larry Bjork is probably driving a semi today. Tom Quinn and Ann Vogel. Dave Bartlett, I think, is on our Air County Board Chair, and that's always a pleasure. And Paul Miller, our County Manager. So that's our Dunn County Committee. Thank you.
Outstanding. Thank you so much. And could Don Mowry, is that how you pronounce it, from Eau Claire County?
That's correct.
All right.
Okay. Hi, I'm Don Mowry from Eau Claire County. I'm from District 9, and I'm chair of the Extension Committee. I'm a retired social work professor from UW Eau Claire. On the line today, we also have Missy Christofferson, who represents District 29. She takes great care of pets at Oakwood Hills Animal Hospital as well. She's new to the board this year. I think Melissa Jansen is also on. I think she's in her second term at the board District 25, and she knows all about financial literacy. So if you are having trouble balancing your books, she's the one to talk to. Heather DeLuca, I believe, is on District 24. She's a retired teacher. She still takes great notes. So if we miss any recorded part of this meeting, you could ask her and she'll have notes. And also, I didn't see Colleen Bates on, but she represents District 12. She's a retired healthcare worker. She's been on the county board forever, and we look to her as kind of our mother and our mentor for many of us. Those are our board members.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for the introductions, Don. And for extension staff, Heidi, would you mind introducing the Chippewa folks?
Absolutely. Thank you, Stephanie. So I get to work with some pretty awesome people day in and day out. So Catherine is our area extension director. And then there's myself, who is our 4-H educator. I've been with extension just over 2 years now. I started in May of 2018. Jerry Clark is our agricultural educator specializing in crop and soil. And Jerry is probably 21 years in extension. Jerry, you can correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. Jeannie Walsh has been with extension for about 5 years as our human resource and human development and relationships educator. Margaret is our horticultural outreach specialist. Been with us for just over a year, and she serves 4 counties. Sandy has been an extension. I'm not sure how long, Sandy, but she's our FoodWise coordinator and supervises Nancy Fastner, who is our FoodWise educator. And then Heather Lubes is our administrative assistant and truly the glue that holds our office together day in and day out. So that's my wonderful colleagues in Chippewa County. And Stephanie, back to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Heidi. And I do want to take a moment to just acknowledge that Catherine Scoff is here from Eau Claire County. And I'm not sure if you were mentioned, but you are here and we're super happy that you're here. Thank you. Louisa, would you mind introducing Dunn County?
Sure, that would be my real pleasure. We start our slide with Catherine Emanuel, our Area Extension Director. Myself, Louisa Gerasimo, the 4-H educator. I've been here for, I think I'm on my 3rd year. I'm not going to say all the years of everybody because I didn't write it down and I'm afraid I'll get it wrong. But we have Katie Wantock, who is our excellent agricultural agent. Margaret Murphy serves as our horticultural outreach specialist. Stephanie Hintz in Human Development and Relationships Educator. Sandy Tarter is our Foodwise Coordinator, who, as you know, works in multiple counties. And Pamela Warren Armstrong is Foodwise Educator, working with us here now in Dunn County. Same with Joy Weissner, Foodwise Educator. And Nancy Fassner, also Foodwise Educator. And Michelle Bachon is our Support Specialist, and Michelle is our go-to person for more things than you can count on all your hands and your fingers and your toes. So that would be my wonderful group of people that we miss very much because we don't see each other except in these little medallions now.
Yes, thank you so much for introducing Dunn County, Louisa. Joy, would you mind introducing the Eau Claire County staff?
I sure would. It'd be my pleasure. Again, you'll see Catherine, our Area Extension Director. Then we have Rachel Hart Brinson, our 4-H educator, and I'm not going to do the years either because I did not do my research. We have Lissa Seefeld with for our agriculture educator, Margaret Murphy, horticulture outreach specialist, Yia Lore, human development and relationships, Sandy Tarter, our Foodwise coordinator, Pamela Warren Armstrong, my Foodwise educator colleague, and myself, Foodwise educator. And then the glue that holds our office together is Christy Peterson, our office coordinator, and then Andy Heron, who's our administrative specialist. And he keeps us laughing every day.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Joy. And Louisa, would you mind introducing Catherine Nicewander to the group?
Yeah, today we're joined by Catherine Nicewinder, who is our Assistant Dean for the Northern Zone, which includes Chippewa, Dunn, Eau Claire counties. So it's nice to have somebody representing at the state level. Really appreciate you being here, Catherine. I hope you enjoy our show today.
Wonderful. So I am going to lead us into a little mindful moment. That's essentially one of my specialties, one of my favorite small aspects of the programming that I do in my position as a human development relationships educator. So if you would indulge, if your feet aren't already on the ground, go ahead and plant them there. Lengthen the spine. We're going to roll those shoulder blades back, allowing the palms to rest gently on your either lap or down by the side. If it feels safe, you can gently close your eyes, and if not, softening your eyelids and gently looking down. We're going to do 3 extended breaths, taking a nice deep breath in through the nose. And open the mouth, exhale. Nice deep breath in through the nose. And open the mouth, exhale. And one more time, just because it feels good. Deep breath in through the nose. And open the mouth, exhale. Letting the breath return back naturally, wiggling the fingers, wiggling the toes, gently blinking the eyes open if you haven't already, maybe rolling the shoulders, coming back into your body, back into this space to connect with everyone. You can do that extended breath at any moment, any time of day. If you're feeling an elevated emotion or you want to just enjoy whatever experience you have more, that's a wonderful tool to go back to. If you're feeling stressed, do an extended breath. If you're feeling excited, do an extended breath. So that's our little mindful moment, and Louisa and I are your MCs, so we are both going to be really mindful to hopefully keep everyone on track. We all have so much wonderful things to share with you that we're excited about, that we're proud about, and so we want to make sure that you can hear it all, hear and see it all. Without further ado, Catherine, would you take us away?
Thanks, Stephanie and Louisa, and thank you all for being here. This is really important, and of course, we all wish we were meeting at one of our county offices with Heather DeLuca's amazing cookies and some refreshments. And so we're going to have to take the biggest rain check on that for the future. We really appreciate the opportunity that we have created together with our elected leadership and with our extension colleagues to now create the third meet and greet, where we have a chance to see each other, to learn about and highlight some extension programming, and then also have a space for dialogue where you can ask us questions, opportunity for us to share more. So what you can expect from today is we're going to really follow that agenda. We're going to have a built-in time around 1:45 for a 5-minute break. We've found that that's kind of a nice practice to do in meetings, is to take a quick little break. And then at the end, we certainly have about 20 minutes scheduled for just really open dialogue. I will be sending out a copy of the PowerPoint, the slides that have been shared today and the resources, so know that everybody will get a copy of that. With that, I'm going to share my screen, and as I do that, I'm going to talk a little bit about the extension programming and that we've done in response to COVID-19. So, of course, in mid-March, we basically got an email saying that we needed to pretty much instantly start working from home, which staff was really key in adapting to. And we continue to work remotely with some amount of programming that occurs on the county level, following both the state and the local health guidance. And we're very adamant and detail-oriented about that. It does take a lot of work. I can't say it's not stressful. It is. It's hard work. And I hope you all are very proud of our educators who are really rising to the occasion, and our support staff who are just helping all of us figure out all of those details as we move along. So Stephanie's mindful minutes, like, we need to do those a lot because this is hard work. So I'm going to transition to the screen that hopefully you can see. And this is a link I'll send to you all in that email. This really looks at a statewide programmatic response that Extension is having in response to COVID-19. And I'm not going to comb through every last item here, but I do want to just kind of show you the general layout, and then you'll have a lot of time to review this at your leisure. You can see that we have this organized around different content areas. And in Area 6, we have all of these types of educators represented here. In particular, the counties co-invest in all of these areas with the exception of natural resources. And we do have one of our statewide natural resources educator named Dan Zaire who is on the line. And while he is not co-funded through Chippewa down in Eau Claire counties, he is co-funded through the DNR and Extension as a partnership, and he's located in Eau Claire County. We also have another colleague named Lauren, who is a natural resources educator, also located here in Area 6. So you can click on any one of these to see examples of really statewide programming that is occurring. And just with head nods, you can still see a screen. It's like a report that showed up. Cool. So each of our content areas has put together a statewide report. And again, at your leisure, you can go through here. So one example is really the food supply chain issue. Boy, what a challenge that was, going from milk production to how to slow down the milk production for dairy cows. And our educators are right there to help walk through these scenarios with folks. So I will just scroll down a little bit more on this website. Here's another way where you can see local impacts and activities. You can hover on the state of Wisconsin map, and you can see here Eau Claire County, Dunn County, and Chippewa County. We update our records pretty regularly. However, I know that this is not a perfect system. And so this is, I wouldn't say captures all of the work that we're doing. And so we supplement our communication with you all through sometimes our written correspondence for committees or doing a staff report for committees, kind of depending on how each committee is organized. And then here is another way that you can look to find resources. And I know without a doubt, everyone who serves on an Extension Oversight Committee very much cares about connecting their constituents with meaningful information. And so if you have something, you are always welcome to come to us in Extension. We'd love to guide you to resources. And if you're really curious of looking around, here are some different ways that Extension has helped in communities. And so if you see a way that you think we can help bring some of these resources to the community if they're not already here, please do reach out to us, and we'd love to help be that connection. So just some examples as you see: addressing emotional and social effects of isolation. That's a hard thing, you know, so many people are dealing with that. You know, I'm 40 and that's hard on me, and I have a grandmother who's in her late 80s and that's hard on her, and hard for my 3-year-old. So it's hard on everybody. So I'll let you all explore this at your leisure, but really wanted to just set the stage for kind of our local and statewide impact that we're doing. And now we are going to have educators from different content areas who are going to share out some of the work that they're doing. I want to also acknowledge that the presentations you're going to see are not comprehensive of our full response to COVID. So we do have some supplementary slides that illustrate that. And again, you'll all receive a copy of that. So with that, I will pass this over to Jerry.
Thank you, Catherine. Again, Jerry Clark. I'm the agriculture agent in Chippewa County, and appreciate this opportunity to explain some of the programming we've been doing virtually here since the COVID-19 epidemic started. I would also like to thank my agricultural colleagues, Lissa Seafelt in Eau Claire County, Katie Wantock in Dunn, and Margaret Murphy, who serves our horticulture industry within all 3 counties. I guess we're unique here in Area 6 in that the agricultural agents are specialized to some degree, with Alyssa being kind of our dairy livestock cattle person, as well as myself being in crops and soils, taking care of agronomy, Katie Wantock taking care of farm management, some of that agribusiness type of things, and then Margaret obviously taking care of our horticulture side of things. So we're very fortunate in Area 6 to have that coverage for agriculture and horticulture and be specialized. What I'm going to share with you today is just a program that we just launched because of COVID-19 and how to do a new outreach, way to outreach, is to create some podcasts. And what we've done is working with alternative crops over the last several years related to industrial hemp, malting barley, hops, hazelnuts. We've done all kinds of seeing lots of different crops being investigated or people of interest trying to find a new crop to grow. And so what we thought, since we couldn't meet in person and do these programs, we created podcasts. And currently we have about 9 podcasts that are available, or I think we've just recorded our 9th one and it'll be available soon. So what I just wanted to share with you is a way that we've tried to be innovative about this, as far as being able to have people maybe aren't going to stay home, they're not going to watch a video, they're maybe not going to be able to take part of a webinar that's recorded and these kind of things. This is something you can download onto an MP3 player or onto whatever device you get your podcasts on, and be able to listen to it while you're outside walking, gardening, whatever else you want to do. So this was just a new approach that we tried to take. And so what I'm going to hopefully do is rely on the technology here and share my screen with you guys and see if we can find where try to share this here, and I don't see it on my screen at this point. So let me try this. Should be there. Figured the first one out of the gate is going to cause trouble, right? There it is. Okay, hopefully see that. So with these podcasts, like I said, that link is in your agenda, so you can click on that at any time. The episodes here are just in order that we've recorded them. It's who the hosts are for that recording, as well as who we're interviewing as part of that or having that conversation. There's also a transcript there So if those that have impaired hearing need to be able to read that transcript, that's available there. And so you can kind of just scroll down and see all the different types of podcasts that we've put together with different types of crops. Like I said, we just recorded episode 8 and 9 this week, and so we'll have those posted soon. So I'm just going to share with you a very brief what they sound like, and then we'll wrap it up or have some questions if needed. So let me back up here again. When I share, I have to do this. Okay, let's see if this is going.
Love it.
Can you hear that?
Join us on The Cutting Edge, a podcast in search of new crops for Wisconsin.
So I'm just going to scroll ahead a little bit here to a point where there's a little more discussion, but this just starts out with a little music and who we're interviewing. And then I just want to kind of go to a point where you can hear some of our discussion for about a minute on
black plastic mulch layers, and they figured out how to irrigate, and they were paying this like absorbent amount of money for plants, and there were no barriers. I have never seen this with any other crop that I have tried to get farmers to grow. It just, the view was there's no barriers because ultimately there's a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. So I think it's a real interesting lesson learned on a lot of levels. Like if we want farmers to diversify, tell them there's a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. It was just crazy. I've never, ever seen anything like that. I'm sure it was the same for you. Market, no market.
Yeah.
Just they did it. So we can grow hemp. We know that now.
Yes. Yeah. And I think that's the way we've approached it here with some of the trials that we've done. This will be our second year of a research project here in Chippewa County with UW-Madison. And I think we've proven that, yeah, you can grow this stuff. Now, let's put that aside. You got to have a marketing plan and go forward with what you're going to do and go into it knowing this is a cost of production. Like you said, I think people just thought the money was going to kind of just show up, but you've got a lot of inputs before you can even have any kind of return on it.
Yeah, I remember talking to some dairy farmers last year that wanted to do this. And I said, it's a lot of work and it's going to cost a lot of money. And they said, well, dairy farming is a lot of work and I'm losing money every day, so it was worth the risk for people.
Okay, so hopefully you get a flavor of what we were doing with our podcasts. Again, a number of different we're going to keep adding to the library there, so please come back to visit our website. I think at this point we've had over 300 listens, so this is kind of a shameless plug to get out there and listen to it so our numbers go up. So if everybody on the call listens to 5 of them, we'll really do well with our numbers, so appreciate that. I don't know if we have questions or if I want to take that later, so I'll stop at that point.
We do have a couple of minutes available. We're on time. So if there are questions from the audience that are relatively short, I think we could manage quick questions on the podcast for agriculture.
Jim Anderson here in Dunn County. I have a question of Jerry. First, compliment you, Jerry, on everything you're doing. Here in Dunn County, we had a field of organic industrial hemp. And I guess I wondered the difference or why. Are you familiar with that field in Dunn County where it was organic industrial hemp?
There's been a number of different farmers try it. Now, I don't know if this is one that's continued this is our 3rd year of growing it. And so I'm familiar with a few farms that have tried it. I think with industrial hemp, we have that which is grown for essential oils, and then that which is grown for seed and fiber. Most of the organic production is for the oil, essential oil side of things, the CBD and CBG and those kind of things. So yes, there is production around. Again, I would say most of the production in Western Wisconsin is for the oil side of things.
Thank you, Jerry. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you. And if there are other questions, we can hold those to. We have an opportunity to do some questions at the end. I think we're going to move next to Yia and myself to talk about the Wisconsin Virtual Learning Community. Oops, I skipped down. The Innovation Grant Youth Forward Wisconsin. There we go. Yeah, you can share your screen and take it from here.
Hi everyone. So I don't have a screen to share. I'll just give a brief overview. Louisa and I were going to talk about our Youth Forward Wisconsin, which is a project that we've been working on together and then with other educators across the state. So back in April, some of us educators attended a presentation from Indiana Youth Institute about their Children's Savings Accounts program. So if you hear me say CSAs, that's what I'm referring to as the Children's Savings Accounts. And this program is designed to help families begin saving for post-secondary education. So there's incentives that are built around this to help support with building savings, such as seed funding and matching. And what really got us excited is hearing the research behind this. So low and moderate income kids who start a college savings account between $1 to $499, so even a small amount, they're 3 times more likely to go to college and 4 times more likely to graduate from college. So again, it doesn't have to be a whole lot to make a big change in someone's life. And research also shows us that a small amount of money deposited into these CSAs can positively impact the math and reading scores for elementary students, especially those who receive free and reduced lunch. And then parents also place more importance on college education too. So the idea is that Extension would work with community partners to provide a small amount of seed funding to children, and then families and donors can contribute, and then donors can also help match that amount as well too. And then this would be a way of addressing educational disparities throughout our state while also ensuring that we have a workforce that is positioned for economic mobility. So then back in May, what happened was our team decided we would apply for Extension's Innovation Grant, and we received it. So we're really excited, and I'm going to have Louisa talk now about where we are with things and where we are headed.
Thanks, Hia. So in the introductory phase, people from all over the state watched information from Indiana from some experts talking about their statistics that Hia mentioned, and some of us got really fired up, and we got together and started working on the innovation grant. And then when we received the grant, some of us stepped up to serve on the executive committee for that. And I was honored to step up and help with that. So the attempt to work on universal child savings accounts is now in an executive team educating ourselves. And we have some great forward momentum to announce, which is we hired a 10-hour per week coordinator who is starting today, as a matter of fact. And she will be helping coordinate the whole program because each of us has our own professional job we have to take care of already. And we wanted to have that one person to answer questions and to help with marketing and to keep us all going. And we do have a very careful plan that's set out quarter by quarter for who's doing what and what it is that we hope to accomplish. What is really interesting to me, and I just wanted to share with all of you in Area 6, is that those of us who watched this presentation with Indiana, which was put on by Clint Kugler and Phil Marizzi, they talked about being funded by the Charles Stewart Mott Fund. And what was amazing is that this fund is also going to support us here in Wisconsin. It is spreading throughout the Midwest. And so we have people who are experts to count on to help our executive committee. And as we watched this presentation and people got excited, what was really cool is once we got that innovation grant, now I see that I have colleagues who are interested in helping with this, and they're across basically almost all the institutes in extension for the University of Wisconsin-Madison. So our division has taken this to heart. People in 4-H, people who are working with youth in other areas, and we have people who are working for community economic development, for instance, who are seeing the advantages here of building excitement towards post-secondary education opportunities and on a way to work in counties where there is a lot of poverty. So I'm super excited about it, and I'm very interested to see where we go. And I just wanted to report those early steps as we get the project launched.
Outstanding. I love hearing about this program. I just love watching the timeline and the wins of all of this. One thing that I just want to point out, I'm not sure if it's obvious, but I really love the things that we're sharing with you today because it is cross-county and cross-institute collaboration. So Louisa is in Dunn County, she's in 4-H, Yia's in Eau Claire County. She's human development relationships educators, and you're going to see stuff like that throughout the rest of our presentations. And then another thing that I wanted to mention too is that Kitty One Talk in Dunn County is also starting a podcast, and so that'll be really exciting too to listen to when that comes out. But we are doing really well on time. Heidi and Margaret, do you want to take it away?
Thanks, Stephanie. We can. I'm going to share my screen, but let me find what I need to share first. And I'm going to click present. Oh, we're going to go back. Okay. So talking about cross area and cross department institute programming, one of the things that Margaret and I are going to do today is we're going to engage in some fun activities and team building activities and icebreakers that have come as a result of some of the work that I've been doing with Positive Youth, the Institute of Positive Youth Development virtual learning community. So Margaret, take it away.
Thanks, Heidi. Yes, so we're going to start as we transition our programming to a virtual learning community. We often look for ways to help keep our audiences engaged and let our presentations be interactive. And so Heidi has such wonderful ideas on how to do that. So I'm learning a lot for my work as well. So we're going to start off with an example of a short interactive exercise called a Minute Mystery. It comes from playmeo.com. And minute mysteries are very nice because they help foster critical thinking and creativity. They don't require any props, and they can be done with a wide range of group sizes. So what it entails is we're going to read the mystery, and then you have 60 seconds to solve the mystery by asking yes or no questions. So here we go. There is a man walking down the road dressed entirely in black. There are no lights on anywhere and no moon. A car with no lights comes down the road and manages to avoid the man. How? Feel free to unmute if you have a question or put it in the chat box. And are you keeping time, Heidi?
Are there any other cars on the road?
Irrelevant, I guess, but no.
And there's some questions in chat. Would you like me to read those?
Yes, please.
Okay. Is the road outside?
Yes.
Is the man and the car in the same place at the same time?
Yes.
Is it the middle of the day?
Yes, congratulations, you solved the mystery.
That was Catherine Shaw.
Yes.
All right. Good work, Catherine.
Yeah.
So it is during the day. So there are probably at least, there's actually a whole book on minute mysteries that you can access. And what I'll do is I'll send it to Catherine to send out. Another great resource that I use in my work is called Playmeo. It is a website with interactive games and activities, icebreakers, team building, and at the start of COVID, they really created a platform of virtual spaces and virtual activities to address needs, and they hold weekly Zoom meetings and interactive strategies. And there's a Facebook group as well called Interacting in a Virtual Space. I believe is its unofficial title, but I will have Catherine Emmanuel send that out as well with different things that you can teach, lead to help make a more engaging and effective meeting space or program in a virtual setting. So part of my work this summer has really centered around this idea of the virtual learning community. So how this transpired is this is a statewide team. Which means it is a formal space that educators, and in this particular instance, it's a group of educators from around the state, myself and Amber Reberg. Amber is the state specialist on educational experiences for Wisconsin. We are the team leads for this, and there's colleagues from Barron County all the way down up to Douglas County, all the way down to Janesville, who are working on this project in various ways, whether it be 4-H, ag, across all institutes, like I said, but it's housed in positive youth development because it is youth focused. It is really the need came out of is how do we reach young people during this time of COVID. And we also needed to reframe some of our existing programs that we used to have, like State 4-H Youth Conference, which was held in Madison every single summer for young people. So this idea came out of kind of like the merging of ideas of myself, who said we have a need, there is a need, and if I'm working on this need, it might as well be shared out, right? Because I firmly believe that we are stronger together and that we need to maximize the effort to get the most results. So like I said, a team of educators and youth and adults. So this is the only 4-H sponsored PYD's Positive Youth Development sponsored team that has youth on it. Part of 4-H's youth adult partnerships, and truly the youth, like, they're the ones who make this programming sing. Like, they do such a great job and keep us relevant, if that's the best way to put it. They really do keep us relevant. So the goal was a couple of things when we first started meeting back in April. It was to reach young people with educational programming and create a community for connections and engagement. So we believe in connections before content. And the second goal was to learn the framework for creating these spaces. So this is a learning by doing process. And none of this research is being done by youth development programs nationwide. Like, Wisconsin is the first state evaluating what creates the framework for positive youth development in a virtual space. So like, that's really exciting for our program. And we have a state specialist, Josset, in evaluation, that he is fantastic and help leading this charge with us. And this is a learning process. We're learning by doing. None of us learned, like, we're virtual experts before we started this. We were just people who are passionate about youth, okay? And our 4-H programs, and how do we meet people during these times. So the implementation, we surveyed all of the families in Wisconsin 4-H. We had about 800 families respond to our survey saying, like, yes, we are interested. And so really the summer was a pilot of activities. So we called it the Summer of Activities. And we had over 100 synchronous and asynchronous. So synchronous meaning there was someone facilitating and teaching them. There's a couple listed below: the Navigating Media Bias in a Polarized Nation and Making Goat Cheese. Oh, go back. Touch screen is new. And so those were synchronous, where they had an instructor or a facilitator, and people were learning alongside that person. We had asynchronous ones as well. So it was at-home challenges related around 4-H projects that families could do together. Okay. So I'm going to pull up the website really quickly. This is open to everyone, the Wisconsin 4-H virtual learning community, and it is being developed and updated regularly. So I just want to make a quick note of that. And it includes all of the information and the supports, right? How do we deliver 4-H through technology? And like I said, these are all things that we've been learning. So again, I learned it out of necessity in my county-based program, but I also learned it for this state programming, which I think makes, like, it's really exciting that I get to tie my work together between the county and the state to reach youth from all over the state. And so our programming is growing. We are moving towards fall and looking at our lessons that we've learned. I think it's really important that we look at the virtual experience. I just got off a phone call at about 12:15 this afternoon with a volunteer in Chippewa County about her daughter being in or engaging in one of the creative writing sessions that we had. And the mom was like, honestly, Heidi, it was the best thing ever. You know, my daughter, we're homeschooled, so this is a space she has to learn how to interact, right? Like, we live in a globalized society and she is going to have to know how to conduct herself in a virtual space, okay? So that was part of it. And the second thing is, this family has 5 children. She's like, my daughter, Susan, went into our office and shut the door and was able to have like her hour of time of learning. And we didn't have to drive anywhere to learn, right? Like, so she's like, I oftentimes have to limit my kids' schedules, you know, to pick 3 4-H things besides their club meetings. And she's like, with virtual learning spaces, she's like, my kids can access so much more because guess what? Like, they can just be at home learning. And she's like, it's so great. So I just did a couple pictures from some of the virtual learning sessions. The young lady in the upper right, she's going to be a clover bud, and she was so excited that this was her first time engaging in a Zoom meeting. Like, she has her little banana there. They had to bring something to talk about themselves. And really, like, she was just so, so excited. We did cream puff making, goat cheese, you name it. And so really one of the biggest learning lessons that we had is that this work is needed. It's not just needed by our 4-Hers, but it's also work needed by our colleagues as they move more things online. And I think being in an online space, there's not a lot of opportunities, right? I think if Extension can be a leader and a catalyst in how we create virtual spaces that are meaningful and positive and engaging. And so I'm really excited to share this work. And like I said, I'm not an expert on it. I am someone who is just passionate about the youth I work with. I'm passionate about reaching them during this time and in the future. As we move forward, the work will not go away. Even if COVID transitions us back to a normal society, or normal-ish, the new normal, right? This is still an opportunity for us to engage people across the state and have them access and engage with volunteers and increase their network. And I think that's really, really important because we'll truly be able to fulfill our promise that we offer a young person when they join 4-H every single project area, because virtual spaces make it possible. So now Catherine's going to help me with the next activity. I'm going to explain it. This is called Blind Portraits, and this is a team building activity, and trust me, there's going to be a lot of laughs because it's pretty funny. So like I said at the beginning, you do need a pen and pencil or a piece of paper. So if you don't have that, if you have it, great. If you don't have one, hustle and get one. So Catherine and myself will be putting you in breakout rooms with only one other person, okay? So we'll have 15 different breakout rooms. You are going to pin using the 3 dots on the upper right-hand corner of your screen, their face onto the screen, okay? And this is called blind portraits because when I say go, you are going to not look down at your paper. You're just going to look at the screen. So like if Stephanie and I were partners, I would just be focusing in on Stephanie's face. And I would be drawing a self-portrait of Stephanie without picking up my pen or pencil.
Excuse me, just one brief moment.
Yep.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Heidi. Michelle reminded me that we can't do breakout rooms while we're recording. So
interesting.
We will take your lead on sharing out the activity, and we can imagine it.
So actually, you can do breakout rooms while recording. It's just, it will only record the
main room. Yep.
So we can still do it if you guys want to. I want to. I'm excited for it.
I think we better just do the main room, and then we can always send out some directions later. But I think we better do the main room.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sounds good. So, I mean, we could still do this in the main room. So you are going. Let's just do. You're going to pick someone. Okay, and pin, just a random person. In a true belonging environment, I would make sure everyone had a partner in the sign. So I'm going to stop share. I'm going to have you pick someone's face to pin on your screen. So I'm going to do my 3 dots and pin a video. Okay, I have my pen and paper ready. Give me you can use your reactions at the bottom. So there's the smiley face plus the thumb. Whoa, there's new reactions. Is the smiley face with the plus sign. You're going to give me the thumbs up. If you're ready, Heather has a question. Heather DeLuca. Do you have your hand up for a reason?
No, I had my hand up during the ag thing, but so I didn't know how to put it back down.
Okay, I'll put it down for you.
Thanks.
Okay, I just caught that. So I have my person pinned. I'm going to grab my paper and pen. My cat has annexed my pen, I think, as a part of his rest. So I have my person pinned. When I say go, you are going to start drawing. And when I say stop, we are going to stop drawing. And then I'll have us all hold up our drawings. Okay, I'm going to ready, set, go.
I'm sorry.
We're not supposed to look at our drawing, right?
Oh, well, then I was not doing it.
That is
I
correct.
saw you,
You
Steph.
are not supposed to be looking at your drawing. So
I'm busted.
yeah, pen to the paper.
Oh man,
Yep. But I mean, as the best you can.
it's
Like,
gonna look like I didn't look at it is the thing. You'll never know.
well, we'll have you put the person's name on it when you're done. You have about 5 seconds. All right. So we're going to stop. I will hold mine up first. I drew Jeannie Walsh. So there's her bob and her glasses. All right, you guys. So write your name on the person who you drew yours up. Or
I think that's pretty good what you did. Oh,
I'm not artistically inclined at all. Ooh, Andy, look at Andy. Oh, very nice.
I'm sorry, Missy Christopherson.
I would invite you at some point to, if you would like to, take a picture and then email it to Catherine. Maybe she can put together a slideshow of all of our self-portraits and send it out after. So please, I invite you to do that because then we can see them up close. So again, team building activity. In order to do that one, I would recommend having a lot of trust with the group that you're working with. And typically, like, you can take this to the next step further. And I know we're a little bit crunched on time. And you can invite them, like the group, to write down 3 positive things about the person you drew about. So if I were doing this about Jean, I love Jean's like sense of just like, she's very grounded in terms of like, I can always go for advice and like write. So you could write 3 positive things to take it that next step, to turn it kind of into a warm feeling before you leave the meeting. So
awesome. That was so wonderful, Heidi. I think every single one of us had a smile on our face that I could see. I think that was a wonderful exercise. We are going to take a 5-minute break. And so I encourage you to stand up, to stretch, get water, go to the bathroom, and we'll come back and we'll have a great rest of our presentation. So I'll see you at 5:52. Does that sound good? I mean, not 1:52. Okay, see you guys soon. All right, so we still have, oh, actually it just turned 1:52 on my end. While some people are coming back into the room, turning on their cameras, I'll go ahead and answer Joy's question in the comment. So when Heidi was saying pinning someone's face, she means pulling up their main video. So it's the main one that you see. So if you hover over anyone's picture, there'll be 3 dots that pop up in the top right corner. You click on that, and then you can pin them. So you'll be only seeing them, and you can absolutely unpin them too. And then that's another way to chat with someone privately, just another way to go around it. But awesome. I see people turning on their cameras, coming back to the room, back to the space. So happy that you're here. Ooh, I should turn on my camera too. Here we go. Hello. And our next presentation is going to be from Jean Walsh. She is Human Development and Relationships Educator from Chippewa County, and Sandy Tarter, who is our Foodways Coordinator from all 3 counties. So take it away, ladies.
Good afternoon. Let me start my slides here. There we go. So I'm Jeannie Walsh, and Human Development Relationship Educator for Chippewa County. And I want to thank you for allowing me to share with you some adaptations and financial programs that have been developed to help meet the challenges of COVID-19's impact on our financial security. So COVID-19 is impacting households and communities and businesses, and according to the U.S. Census Bureau, as of mid-July, half of American adults reported that they had lost income because of the pandemic. About 1 in 4 adults reported that they either had missed last month's rent or mortgage payment, or had slight to no confidence that they would be able to make the next month's rent or payment on time. So one of the resources that Extension has developed that is located on their FYI Extension website is really an easy to use resources that is updated daily by our specialist, and this offers answers to many of the financial questions that people have surrounding COVID-19, or provides avenues to where people might be able to look to find their answers. And you can also see on the right-hand side, there's a menu with some specific fact sheets where individuals can get further information on different aspects. Scrolling a little bit farther down, you can see some of the specific questions that people may have with tabs that make it available for people to click on and again get more information, find out resources. One of the fact sheets, sorry, I keep switching that. Some of the fact sheets that are, one of the fact sheets that are available is that tools to cope with the financial impact of COVID-19. And that actually looks like this. And this is located on right on the website, like you saw, and it helps to really guide individuals with the steps that they can take. And it's in an if you then format. So if you are about to lose your job or have already lost your job, what are some of those steps that you should take? And what are some further resources that you might want to look at, as well as what are some other ideas or people that you might want to check with? Another resource that's available that's been developed during this time by our extension educators is Mindful Money Moments. And these are 3 to 5 minute financial videos on Facebook on such topics as aging and financial decision making, housing, Experian Boost, and more. So these again are located on our Facebook website or off of the main page on that COVID-19 financial security. The last resource that I really wanted to share with you is Money as You Grow Book Read. And these are 6 to 13 minute financial videos that are for children, read aloud by our extension educators that also, besides reading, provides questions for young children to be able to apply the financial concepts that they learn about. So these also use Facebook as the platform for delivery. There's lots of other financial programs and resources that have been developed during this time and during before COVID-19, and will continue using different platforms on financial education. So please go ahead, feel free to contact me if you would like some more resources on any other financial security programs or adaptations that we have. And now Sandy Tartar is going to share with you some information about food security.
Thank you, Jeannie. Awesome. You can go to the next slide. So we know when you are struggling to pay for your rent, your mortgage, your utilities, when you have to pay for transportation and medical and your medication, what do? You pull or you steal or you take from your food budget. And so unfortunately, that is an expendable expense. That is not a fixed expense in people's minds. And so I just want to give you a kind of a state of the area address around food security. As you see here, food assistance, it started with 37 million people pre-COVID using food assistance to now it's well over 50 million in a matter of a few months that are in need of food assistance. And in our highlight reports for each county, I shared a little bit around April or May where our counties are jumping. And now this is from February to July. I'll give you an update. So it is about the same in all three counties. We've seen a jump and increase in food share participation from around 18% to 20% in each county. You can see your county here done. Now we're up to 2,045 households. That is translated into about 4,000 recipients. So that's really common, and these are taken from Food Share Wisconsin data, that there's always at least 2 people in the household, sometimes 3, sometimes 1. Chippewa, we've jumped up to 3,048 households with 6,100 recipients. Eau Claire was about the same. We've jumped up 18% to you see there 5,500 households, and then that is 10,291 recipients. So overall, in the Chippewa Valley, we are now up to 10,000 households that are on food share, with that leading to 20,000 recipients. We know that 1 in 4 Americans skip their meals or rely on some sort of food donation to feed their families. This creates a very unhealthy cycle. We know that 80% of households fully report that they do buy inexpensive, unhealthy processed food to stretch their food dollars when they have to. 53% of families say they also have a member that has high blood pressure, and 33% of household with food share say they also have a member with diabetes in their household. So food insecurity leads to increased healthcare costs, and this is to the tune of $77 billion a year in the US. You can go to the second slide.
And Sandy, I was so engrossed that I wasn't being mindful of time. So could you wrap up your thoughts
absolutely.
in 1 minute? Okay.
And I can always share with you at our individual county meetings, so it's no worries. But we know that there's there's relaxed requirements so you can get food share. We know that there's a temporary benefit to a pandemic EBT for families that had children in free or reduced price lunches. They now get some money, as you see there. And we have lots of pantries, of course, all over the Chippewa Valley, and they're seeing increase. So next slide, and I'll just wrap it up by saying, to address the need, there are pop-up pantries all over the Chippewa Valley, as you can see here. And Chippewa Falls, Cadott, Eau Claire, there's 3. And each one of those, people are by, hundreds are coming to these pop-up pantries. And in Dunn County, Stepping Stones goes to all corners of the county in our rural counties. So one last thing is, do you know that for every dollar you donate, Feed My People can buy $10 worth of food? For September, when you donate $1, the Otto Bremer Trust will match that. So now $2 will buy $20. So keep that in mind if you want to do something. Thank you much.
Outstanding. Thank you so much, Jean and Sandy. And we have Rachel and Margaret is back again to tell us about extending the extension mission through volunteers. So ladies, go for it.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. I'm just going to get my script ready. I don't have anything to share screen-wise, so you can watch all of your wonderful colleagues and extension staff as I talk a little about volunteers. So when I was hired for the 4-H program educator position, I thought of 4-H camp and project meetings and project curriculum, and I did not think about 4-H volunteers. And this was a glaring error on my part. Volunteers are integral to the success of many of Extension's programming, from Master Gardener volunteers to 4-H volunteers to Master Naturalist volunteers. Volunteers extend the reach of our programming to countless more participants than we could reach on our own. The Master Gardener program is a great example of the reach that they can provide. Margaret, can you please share?
Thanks, Rachel. Yes, at the end of 2019, Master Gardener volunteers from the 3 counties, Dunn, Chippewa, and Eau Claire, reported 4,833 hours of volunteer service, which translates into an estimated value of about $116,000. The volunteer service projects performed by these volunteers reached an estimated 13,500 individuals. Master Gardener volunteers are also committed to keeping up to date on research-based information, and they've reported in 2019, they reported over 1,800 hours of continuing education. So a good group of very dedicated volunteers to help our mission.
Excellent. Thank you for that, Margaret. I want you to think about something that you do in your life as a volunteer. So take just a couple of thoughtful seconds. What do you do as a volunteer, and why do you do it? I would think you probably want it to be rewarding to you, rewarding to your community, have roles that are clearly defined, and recognize you for your effort. Those are things that our extension has worked at defining as what are needed in a supportive environment to grow our volunteers and to support them in a meaningful program. And building such a program takes intentionality and time. Extension works hard at it because it takes the time and effort to build and support volunteers. Those volunteers extend our reach into the community. When 4-H first started, long time ago, agents like myself were the 4-H club leaders. If I were leading 4-H clubs today, I could maybe have 2, 3, 4 clubs. But because of 4-H volunteers, Eau Claire County 4-H currently supports 16 clubs and 6 county-wide projects. And that's just Eau Claire. I didn't get the stats for Dunn and Chippewa counties, but that extends even farther. They meet almost every day of the week, and there are countless hours of work put in to support project learning, such as the rocket launch that was highlighted in the slides. Volunteers play a crucial role in reaching our greater community, and supporting those volunteers is a huge part of our job as extension professionals. And it's one of the things that I am spending a lot of my time doing so that I can have a better program that reaches more people.
Thank you, Rachel. That was great. And you're right, without volunteers, we'd be kind of sunk. So we are closing up here right on time and moving right into the dialogue questions and answers section. We can popcorn around and see what needs answering. Are there any questions or observations that our participants would like to share right now?
Heather, it looks like you have a question. Feel free to just unmic yourself, and we'll just be pretty informal here, so no worries about raising a hand.
Okay.
Yeah, go for it. Thanks.
So in the presentation, the first two presentations, I had some questions. To Jerry Clark, in the ag presentation, where do you advertise for your podcasts?
What we've tried to do recently is, well, when we first started, we wanted to get about 4 of them posted, so there just wasn't the one sitting there when we started the project. So we've been doing it through other media forms. Mainly, we did a news release saying these were available to all of the kind of agricultural sector. We've also been did a radio spot with Wax Radio to try to just promote it that way into that community that typically will listen, listenership around the agricultural side of things. I think it's been on Facebook, but not so much, or through social media, I should say. That was posted through Ashland County, through one of the other collaborators that we have. So locally within Chippewa-Eau Claire, I'm not sure we hit the social media circuit as hard as maybe we did statewide.
The reason why I asked was being part of the Land Conservation Commission in Eau Claire, I get a lot of trainings and information being sent out through Wisconsin Land and Water. And I was wondering if maybe through your LCC group, you could, post some things like that out there as well. And I've shared a few things with Margaret from that in regards to trainings that she was interested. So I just wanted to reach out and suggest maybe making a wider reach would assist with that.
Sure. Yeah. Great suggestion. Thank you, Heather.
Mm-hmm. And then for Louisa and Yia, the CSA program that you were talking about, is that for all 3 counties for kids to learn about financial savings and so forth?
It certainly could be. At this point, we'll be launching it into the counties where there is a volunteer extension educator to take it and run in their counties. So we'll have to see. My guess is that this will grow as people start seeing the success in one county, other counties will pick it up. And it's actually, we have, Jeannie Walsh has been involved in this in years past and had a pretty successful time going out and educating people in schools and getting families to put in funds. And our goal with this program is to have corporations and community foundations help create like an incentive program to get people through the paperwork to start a bank account. That can be a barrier for some families, especially people who maybe struggle with not having access to a computer or the time to go to a bank, or maybe don't read or speak English easily. So that is our hope, is that it will spread to other counties. Right now it will just be in the counties in Wisconsin where there's an advocate to pick it up and run with it.
So is it in all our 3 counties then, Chippewa and Eau Claire?
Not at this point, but it could be.
Okay, so
we're in early days. Yeah.
Starting with Dunn initially.
And Chippewa, because Yia and I are working on it.
Okay. And have you, I know that at my middle school in Chippewa, they always had like savings with RCU and so forth. Have you reached out to any of the schools about promoting your program that way to reach some of the kids that are low income in those areas?
We are just getting started, so there have been no reach outs to schools. We just hired our first coordinator. We don't have any promotion materials or anything. We're still educating ourselves, but that is the goal. Ultimately, we will need our school partners because that's where most of the youth are. And we will be targeting low income schools in particular because that's where we think we can make the biggest difference.
Okay,
good question. Thank you.
That's all I had.
Thanks for that plug, Heather. I appreciate it. So I work for Royal Credit Union in our financial education department, and so I'll be following up with all of you after this meeting just to chit chat because I'm really intrigued about that. And we do have, I mean, Royal has 29 school sites, but we're in every single elementary school in Chippewa County. So we'll touch base offline off of that. But thanks for that plug, Heather. Going to set me up better for that.
Oh, looks like Jim, you want to chat?
Am I? Okay, thank you. First of all, thank you, everybody. This was great. I have two questions and then a comment. One of them is regarding virtual learning, very interesting. And as Stephanie knows and others here, in Dunn County, I'm very interested in expanding rural broadband. Now, so my question is, when you have virtual learning, and maybe people out in our areas do not have access, or at least enough broadband speed to even do virtual learning. And so that's one of the things that I think we're working with. And thanks to Stephanie, way back when we mapped all of this in Dunn County, but we're a long ways from where we need to be. So that's a question of mine that we can't reach everybody. And then I'll one more question regarding to Rachel and others, and certainly Louisa here, regarding volunteers. We've been hearing that a great deal from the value of volunteers in all of our 4-H programs and everybody else. And that's an emphasis, I think, that when we go to other people and say the value of these volunteers is humongous. And then you asked each one of us to say, what do we like to volunteer in? And I thought about that, and you know, we all have our passions, and I don't know if you've heard of LSIP, Lower Chippewa Invasive Species. And I got involved in that, and I got Margaret to come to one of our meetings, and we're talking about all these invasives and how we can do about it, working especially now closely with Chippewa County along the invasives along our county, our bordering townships. And I think that's another thing that we, all of us in our 3 counties in extension, how we're sharing all these resources. And I think that's wonderful. And I just want to thank you for doing this. And it's so good to when I can't, even my own county people in Dunn County, I don't know when's the last time I've seen you face to face. It's been a long time. Can't even get in our own government building anymore. But anyway, that's my comments. Thank you.
Yeah, so Jim, so the virtual learning spaces, like, so we know that broadband can be an issue, right? And you know, there are places and spaces in the state that that broadband isn't available. Okay. And I think with National 4-H's partnership with Microsoft and, you know, more initiatives, more rural broadband initiatives, I think, you know, every day the opportunities are getting greater and greater, you know, not necessarily maybe at the speed that we want them to be. And what I'm learning too along the way is that we have the opportunity, right, to get really creative during this time. Our families can meet in groups of 10 with approval. So it might be there's a volunteer who's fantastic at bees in Ozaukee County, and with approval, someone, you know, a town hall, somewhere that has the speed that the young people with the volunteer leader using our best practices in terms of youth development and risk management, they could live stream into a space so that those young people can get that information and do the activities associated with that learning session. And so we understand it's not perfect. You know, again, it's another avenue to reach people. You know, it takes all ways of communications and all forms of communications and education, because we know that education is not one size fits all anymore. And so I think that's the growing opportunity, right? We know that it will never be 100%. I mean, we hope it'll be 100%. But I mean, that's a project that we're working on and finding different platforms that use less speed and all of those things. Like we are doing a lot of research on what learning in virtual spaces is in extension and in 4-H in particular. I mean, how do we set up volunteers for success in those spaces as well? So that's like our next topic to tackle is, you know, supporting our volunteers and youth volunteers if they want to be online teaching. So.
I wanted to share with Jim. I don't know if you know that Beaver Creek Reserve is working with the DNR.
Yes.
About the aquatic invasives.
Yeah, thank you. I'm very aware of that. Thank you, though, Heather. May I introduce a new committee member that I just see is on right now, is on Ann Vogel. I didn't see you on before. She's a member of our CRT committee in Dunn County. Ann, were you on? And I just didn't happen to notice you before, but I see her on the screen. So I wanted to welcome Ann to this. Were you on earlier, Ann, and I missed you?
Yeah, I've been on.
Sorry, Ann.
That's all right. I drew a picture of you for our activity.
No.
I'll have to share it. But I had a question about the Youth Forward Wisconsin, because sounds like a wonderful program. So when you will in the future solicit donations, will that be to help fund those accounts for the students to get started?
Right. So that would be like seed money, or in Indiana, actually there's a bunch of states all across the country that are doing this. And there's even municipalities like Milwaukee, where if you're born in Milwaukee, you get a childhood savings account immediately. So people who donate, or organizations that donate, or corporations that donate, they can donate depending upon which program they're most interested in. So some are just seed money. So might be a small amount. Some community foundations have figured out that instead of rewarding the privileged couple per year of kids that graduate at the top of their class, a lot of community foundations do like a celebration and they give kids some scholarship money. They could take that money and break it into much smaller amounts and actually see a huge improvement in school and in behavior by distributing it more broadly. So instead of rewarding the kids who are probably in their life chances already have a lot of good life chances, to take that money and use it in a different way is turning out to be pretty valuable. Some organizations are using it as sort of like a pull. Like if you can stay in school X number of days at the end of the semester, we'll deposit this amount of money in the childhood savings account. So I think that's yet to be determined. And I suspect it's going to look different in different communities depending upon what community foundations want to pick up and run with. The cool thing about being involved with the Indiana folks is that they will literally get on the phone and help you with your community with fundraising. So we have some partnership here that thanks to the Charles Stewart Mott Foundation, we have support in Wisconsin to expand this. So the innovation grant that we got through Extension is just tiny amount of seed money. It wasn't even $15,000, but it was enough to get us some help and get us started. And I think we'll get a lot of support for that. So I hope that answers your question. I think the amounts and what they're used for might be a little bit different, but the point is to have something go in so that people can make their own small deposits and see that balance grow. I think that in itself is a really good life lesson and really encouraging.
I would think local universities may be interested in this program to help, make sure people enter the higher ed system.
Right, and that's, the early days are really important. And I think culturally we have put our resources into later parts of life when we need to rein that in. We know from lots of long-term studies through universities across the nation that when we put the money into birth to 3, like with our nutrition programs and with our home educators, with our health departments, that the payoff for that is huge. And we wait until somebody is in trouble as a junior in high school. It's hard to pull that back, and we have to put in a lot of resources once people fall out of school and into having a lot of life problems. So I think universities will be interested in it, but it kind of remains to be seen. And again, we're starting, it's going to be baby steps for the first 6 months. And then I think as we gather momentum, we'll pick up more interested partners, and appreciate you all letting us talk about it, even though I don't have a lot of great answers at this point. I do have a lot of enthusiasm and excitement for seeing, like, where does this go and how do we all work together? And since I have the microphone, I just want to apologize to Yia for putting her in the wrong county. She's in Eau Claire County, not Chippewa. And Jeannie Walsh may also be helping us with this project, and she is in Chippewa. At least I hope so.
Wonderful. So we have a couple more minutes for our discussion, questions, just chatting time. And then I do see people are popping off. So we definitely want to get you out of here on time. Whenever we're on Zooms and people start wiggling around a lot, that's when you know. But yeah, so any last minute questions or comments or anything?
We know in Zoom you have to have painfully long pauses to make sure that people have a chance to process and possibly speak or not. I know that Catherine will be following up with everybody, and I would like to express my appreciation for all the co-hosts and all the participants, and Steph for doing a radically great job. And what is that background? And I cannot really tell. It looks like a wildlife scene.
Yeah, this is wallpaper
Okay.
of a mallard.
Nice.
And a deer.
Very Wisconsin. Oh, my background is my actual office.
Louisa, if you asked about backdrop, I want you to notice
that's the Mabel.
Well, downtown Mabel Tainer.
Nice. Very pretty.
And if you believe that, yeah, I'm in my office, but my office doesn't have a very nice background. So I took this picture, and there you see the Mabel Tainer.
Yeah, and Jerry is outstanding in his field.
Right, and Jerry's out in his field.
That's an old farmer joke. Okay. Catherine, do you want to say any last words to wrap this up for us?
Well, in my books, everybody is outstanding in their field. And so I want to thank you all for your contributions, and thank you for our Oversight Committee members. And I know we had one county administrator that was able to join us. What you see here is just a snippet of the work that we're doing, and hopefully you could see a theme of adaptability in the COVID landscape. You know, while you hear extension continue to work from home mostly for the foreseeable future. One day we will be back in our offices, and one day we will be doing lots of in-person programming. However, extension is still very alive and well, making an excellent impact in our communities and really bringing the best resources that we can from campus to people in our communities who often don't have access to university-based information and knowledge. And that's our joy, that's our privilege, that's our responsibility, is to bring knowledge from the university to help transform and improve people's lives. And I think you heard a lot of great examples of that here, again, on the adaptability here in our COVID landscape. So thank you all for the work that you're doing. And I think Stephanie's going to wrap us up real quick as we check out.
All right, so I have one last awesome activity. You may or may not have done this before, but essentially this is going to be an exercise where everyone gets to share at least one more word into our group. So we don't just end our meeting walking away without saying anything. You get to express one more thing. And so how it goes is you can share one word or short sentiment of how you felt about our meeting. So the last hour and a half with each other, what is bubbling up for you, what's on your mind. Share one word or a short sentiment. Now, when we're in person, we normally just like go around in a circle, but because we're on Zoom, I will call on you directly just because it speeds things up rather than waiting in our painful silence of Zoom land. If for whatever reason you're like, no, I definitely don't want to share, you can just say pass, and that's your word. So Jim Anderson, would you take us away for the first word?
Who?
You.
Oh, I'm sorry. Refreshing. How's that?
Refreshing. Love it. Wonderful. Heather, do you
informative?
Oh, Heather, Chippewa County. Wonderful.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
Are you asking about me?
Yes, you.
Okay. This is unusual to have two Heathers. That's not for me. I was always the only Heather. Informative.
Love it. Louisa?
I'm going with appreciation. I really appreciate all of you for being here today. Fun to see everybody.
Wonderful. Eau Claire, Eau Claire, Rachel.
Proud.
Wonderful. Sandy,
Gratitude for y'all.
Michelle. She said something on mute.
Collaboration.
Love it. Jerry.
Impressive.
Wonderful. Catherine, Emmanuel.
Connected.
Jean.
Community.
Margaret.
I'm going to go with what Heather said, informative.
What both Heather said.
Oh.
Yeah.
Encouraged.
Joy.
Proud.
Catherine Nicewander.
Thankful.
And Volg.
I was going to say impressive, but someone already said that, but excited.
Wonderful. Don.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you. Andy.
Revelatory,
Ooh.
which is a synonym for informative, because enough people already said that.
Thank you, Andy. Heidi.
Oh, positive or passionate. I'm going to say passionate. We have lots of people who are passionate about the work they do.
Yes. Carrie. Oh, you're talking on mute if you're talking.
I was gonna say thankful, but somebody else took that, but I guess I'll still go with it.
Yeah, absolutely. We can be thankful times two. Katie?
I will take grateful.
Christy?
Helpful.
Outstanding. I just see District 10 on here.
I think this is Charlene. Charlene, if you can hear us, feel free to pipe in anytime. So we'll move on to our next person, though.
And then Lissa.
Enlightening.
Enlightening.
Following Andy's track of using another synonym.
I love the power words here. Thank you guys for coming together, sharing this time and space and learning and asking questions and supporting us. We really appreciate you. And we hope that you have a great rest of your day.
Inspiring.
Oh, yes. Woohoo. All right. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Goodbye.
Inspiring.
Thanks.